Om Sri Sai Ram, offering my most loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. The reason why we are doing what we are doing in these weeks is because we want the teacher-led classroom to move into a student-centered one, so that the children can move away from rote learning to participative learning. The reason we need to give greater agency to students is because when they take control over their learning, it becomes a lot more inspiring, enjoyable, and participative. John Dewey, who was a great educational reformer who lived at the turn of the 20th century, says that all learning should be contextual and that children should be able to relate the learning to their experiences. What does this mean? What do we mean by contextual learning? I'd like to explain this using a story. Come, let us enjoy this story, which will tell you more about contextual learning. It's titled The Corner Cafe.
Corner Cafe has been in place, as its name suggests, in the corner of the street ever since Amia was born. Her favorite pastime was to sit on the high stool at the counter and pretend to take orders and count the coins. Chin Uncle, who ran the shop, was quite used to her chatter and kept her seat empty so that she would not be disappointed whenever she came in. Filter coffee and butter biscuits were the favorites, and customers kept coming in throughout the day from nearby offices and round the corner homes for the delicious piping hot coffee and more for the chit-chat they could have with the regulars, catching up from where they had left the previous day. A new family had moved into the neighborhood, and a young man strolled into the cafe and was warmly welcomed by Chinna Uncle. Amia was sitting there sizing up the new resident. He had travelled round the world, he said, and had come there on a transfer. He asked for a cup of coffee. No cream, only sugar. Poor Chin Uncle. He was used to serving degree coffee, strong, medium or weak. This was a new request. So he politely asked the customer if he would like to have a filter coffee or an instant one. You mean you don't serve lattes or espressos? The young man asked quizzically. All this was strange language and Uncle felt uncomfortable. Amia did not like this encounter one bit. He jumped in and before Uncle could answer, she started.
Oh no, we don't serve espresso, latte, cappuccino, dalgona or kahwa here. You are in the heartland of coffee belt and we are proud of our coffee estates. Do you know that India is the 7th largest coffee producer in the world with over 80% of the produce being exported? Our estates produce coffee berries which are processed with an eco-pulper. In case you don't know what that is, it is a machine that delivers amazing results using very little water. So you see, our farmers are trained in sustainable cultivation as well. We also have greenhouses and raised dry beds so that the berries can be stored and dried safely because the rains on these slopes can be unpredictable. From harvest to fermentation, drying, wet and dry milling and vacuum packing, all these happen on our farms. And then neatly packed coffee powder, roasted and smelling fresh, is sent in recyclable covers to cafes like this so that our customers can enjoy the filter coffee prepared with love by Chinna Uncle. Now tell me, what would you like to have?
Amia stopped almost breathless after this monologue. The young man simply said,
"One strong cup of coffee, please."
"Better," muttered Amia under her breath. All the customers looked at her in astonishment. How did this girl know so much about coffee? Thank God I listened to what the teacher was saying in the social studies class the other day, thought Amia.
In this story, we all saw how the little girl Amia was able to recall the lesson that her social studies teacher had told her in the class. She was able to recall at the appropriate time and use it contextually. This is what we mean by contextual learning. And when will children be able to recall? Only if they enjoy the lesson that was taught in the class. And so therefore, it's very important for us as teachers to be able to give lessons in the class which children will be able to connect to real life situations and recall at the appropriate time. So here's wishing all the educators a great contextual learning experience, and as always we dedicate this at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. Thank you. Sai Ram.